right here on Wall to Wall Country. Hey, everybody, it's about 12 minutes after the top of the hour of the second hour of the show. And, of course, you always know what that means. That means that we are set up and ready to have another great interview right here on PPR. Today we're chatting with a kind of quote-unquote a local guy. He grew up on the eastern shores of Maryland where, of course, he was a regular dude playing sports, fishing, crabbing, hunting, sailing, hanging out on the beach, and writing and performing music. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Jimmy Charles. Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm back home for a few days and actually have a couple days to take a breather on this tour I'm doing here.
Yeah, you are rocking. You're a very busy guy, and we're going to get to a bunch of the stuff that you have unfolding in the last couple of months and where you are heading as well, because you're like a busy dude. But just back up. Let's back up just a little bit and kind of give people a little bit more of a background other than, you know, the fact that you're from Maryland and you're a local guy, and obviously you're getting into the Nashville scene and doing some music and you know, kind of have the American Idol title, kind of like a little bit there, helping you out as a contestant. But let's back up just a little bit and tell the people a little bit where you came from and how you ended up doing what you do with your music, Jimmy.
Well, I grew up right in Ocean City, Maryland, and I graduated from Stephen Decatur High School. You know, I started playing music, I guess, when I was about 15 years old. My dad gave me my first guitar, and he was singing a lot of older country music like George Jones and Merle Haggard, and really taught me the roots of country music because, you know, it's not, my friends weren't listening to that kind of stuff, so he was really my first, you know, traditional country influence there. And, you know, I fell in love with it. I was very wrapped up into sports, but, you know, music was always there kind of as a side thing, as a hobby, as something I just loved to do and loved to write. I used to keep a lot of it to myself. I was almost kind of shy or embarrassed. But, you know, I ended up going to Towson University and playing football for the Tigers.
Wow.
And just up in Baltimore. And, you know, music was always there. But, you know, when you play a college sport, you know, it's like you don't do anything else. I mean, there's so much involved with a Division I college sport. You're just constantly doing something with that. So I didn't have as much time, but one day, all of a sudden, you know, that was over, and there was that clock struck zero, and I would never put on, you know, a helmet or shoulder pads again, and there was just this huge void in my life because all of a sudden I had all this extra time, and, you know, music was really there for me at that point to fill in that void. And the more that I started performing it and singing, and I wrote a song for my friend's wedding, and his mother has MS, and it was she was in a wheelchair, and I wrote a song for them, and the son and daughter danced at the wedding. I wrote the song for it. Everyone was crying, and I just started to realize that, you know, I had a gift. It was more than just, you know, a hobby. I never thought I could possibly make a living off of music because such a difficult industry. Mm-hmm. But you know, it just started to bloom, and I went out for Nashville Star and out of 45,000 people across the country, I went through all these rounds and made it into the top 50 of that, and you know, suddenly I realized that, you know, I had a chance and I could really make something that I love to do, you know, what I do. Mm-hmm. So I packed up and I moved to Nashville, and I've been there for almost 7 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And you also got some praise from one of the toughest judges on American Idol. He was in your court there for a while, Mr. Simon Cowell. Yeah.
So after I moved to Nashville, I then tried out for American Idol and made it to Hollywood on there, and I was one of Simon's favorites, and he had some real good praise for me. I'll tell you a funny thing. It always seemed like every time, you know, there's a whole bunch of hurry up and wait with these things, and you actually have to go through 4 or 5 rounds before you even make it to the celebrity judges. There were 9,000 people in Denver when I auditioned, and they pack it down to like 250, and then 100, and then 50, and then 50 go to see the actual judges, not the 9,000 people. That would take forever. So, but you've got to wait in these waiting rooms, and then when it gets closer, you're in these lines in the hallway with these chairs that you keep moving up the chair closer to the conference room. And every time I would get to the next chair, and you have all this anticipation build up, and your just nerves are, your heart's beating, they would take a break. I'm like, no, let's just do this thing. Come on, I got to get this over with. Did it when I got to the celebrity judges again. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, all right. So I went in the restroom, and I wanted to keep my voice fresh and make sure that I could hit these high notes. I took a whole bunch of paper towels and I put them over my mouth, and to kind of mute the sound. And I wanted to try to hit this real high note. And man, I'm just belting in the bathroom, belting away, and the door comes swinging open behind me, and who is it but Simon Cowell? And I'm mid-belt. I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my. So I just like stopped, and I still have the paper towels over my mouth, and I'm almost like frozen because I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. I'm in the bathroom with Simon Cowell, belting into paper towels right now. This is actual life. So he just kind of laughed and went on, and then but then I went in and I did the same thing without paper towels, and I made it through. So I got 4 yeses, and what an amazing experience that is. And now, and then I went back to Nashville after that. I didn't, win American Idol, obviously, but it was an awesome experience. And now here I am presented with another great opportunity to make a difference, save lives, and I have a song that's getting nationwide attention.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've been named as the official spokesperson for Zero Cancer. And you're flying around the country. You're doing a bunch of benefit concerts and raising awareness to some people and stuff. But rather than me explaining what exactly is Zero Cancer, how did it come about, and what does it mean to you?
Zero Cancer is a nationwide prostate cancer organization. They are tied to urology centers across the country, and they have these races where they're runs. I should say, some people think they're cars. When I say races, they're runs. They're 5K, 10K runs. They've got a 200-yard superhero dash for the kids where all the kids dress up as superheroes, and they usually have a mascot from whatever team is there. We were just in Baltimore. They had the Ravens mascot there. When I was in San Antonio, they had the Coyote for the San Antonio Spurs. That plays with the kids and makes it a lot of fun. And they have these races all across the country. And last year, it's a really cool story how this song came about. I'll try to quickly explain it. But when I've done a lot of volunteer work through the years, and I've worked with a lot of different charities. And in Zero Cancer, this was no different. I was the people at Chesapeake Urology have followed my career for years and said, hey, could you help us out and raise awareness and come sing at our big race that we have every year? And I said, sure, so I was just volunteering. Shortly thereafter, they called me back and said, is there any way you can write a song that will bring awareness for men to get their prostates checked? And I'm just like, that's what I do every day. I'm like, how am I going to do that, But I started thinking about it, and I wanted to wrap myself around it. I knew this could be a big opportunity, and I started getting a lot of information from the Urology Center, and a guy named Phil Sholka kept coming up. He is now a mentor with Chesapeake Urology. He was a stage 3 Gleason 10, which is, he was given very little hope of surviving, prostate cancer, and he battled through it, had surgeries, and went through the whole thing. But he is now 8 years cancer-free, which is amazing, and now he goes to people's bedsides, and he's a mentor for them. He says, I'm living proof that you can beat this because you're in a better position than I was when I started out. And he gets them through. So I said, we got to get this guy to Nashville. He came to Nashville, took him down on Music Row in one of those famous writers' rooms. I got to get him to experience that where, who knows how many hits have been written there. And sat down and listened to his story myself and Goose Gossett, who's a guy I write songs with. We listened to him speak for over an hour and about his own experience and everyone else's, and I'm like, what is it like to get that news? What is it like to feel fine, feel completely healthy, and 1 minute, and then the next minute, all of a sudden, boom, you are in a fight for your life. What does that feel like? So he told us his experiences, and, it probably didn't take us more than an hour and a half, 2 hours to write the amazing song, Superman, that is just touching so many lives. We walked out of there and we said we knew we had something powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So we sent it back, and we recorded it. I sang it last year, and the impact that I had on the survivors and everyone who listened to the song was just blown away by it. And, the National Zero Cancer then, in turn, called me up and said, we love this. Is there any way you would be a national spokesperson for us and travel to different cities so that, the other cities can experience this? And I said, absolutely. And we made a music video.
Mm-hmm.
The music video just premiered on CMT. And that was on September 1st, an amazing thing. I was featured on CMT.com as the world premiere featured artist and music video. It had a great turnout. It was also on GAC and Zeus TV, and now I'm in September, which is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and I have just been all over the place, flying all over the place to these cities and spreading awareness for men to get checked and early detection, because especially with prostate cancer, it has no symptoms until it's too late. So, you can feel like Superman, and a lot of men don't like to go get checked, but they have to. It's a matter of life and death. I've met so many survivors, and the ones they said, some of them said, "Thank God I got checked, because if I'd waited another 6 months, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now." So that's the kind of thing we're dealing with, and we're out there trying to save lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful song, and I think we need to let people give this a listen. I think that's what we need to do. So we're going to, Jimmy, if you can hang on there for a few more minutes.
Absolutely.
And there you go. What a great song that was, Jimmy. Very inspirational, and you're right. When something like cancer strikes, you want to be tough. You want to be everything under the sun, but there's just, you just got to do what's got to get done, and make sure you think about all the people that affects and not just yourself,
Absolutely. There's a couple different messages in the song, and one is first and foremost for early detection and the fact that, especially with prostate cancer, but even in so many other cancers, it's not showing symptoms, and you can feel strong like Superman, but you're not, and you've got to go and you've got to get checked. And two, what I've really learned from all of this is that a lot of men, when they are diagnosed, they suffer alone. They don't like to tell people or tell their family, like, I can deal with this on my own. Some of them don't even tell their family that they're having surgery. They they say they have a work vacation or something like that, and it's crazy. And that's another thing, you got to get it through your head that you're not alone. There are people here to help you. And with this song, anybody that's suffered through any type of cancer or been touched with it in any way, which is pretty much everyone, you'll find yourself in this song. So it's been getting a great reaction, and thank you so much for playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is this a single, or is this on the album Live Today?
This is a single that's released on iTunes. My first album, Cowboy Soul, is on iTunes as well under Jimmy Charles, and but it will be on I'm currently writing a new album.
Okay.
So it will be on the next album. So it is released as a single.
Okay.
Right now, you guys can download it.
And they can find it on iTunes, on Amazon, on all of the electronic ways, or just in one place.
Yeah, no, all of them. You can JimmyCharlesMusic.com. You can find me, and all of my social media sites are there. So you can get on Facebook. The video is there. It's also on my Facebook page, pinned to the top, and we're asking everyone to share it. It's not just about a song. We're #ShareForLife, and that means, and just like you guys are playing this today, somebody's going to hear it. If somebody shares that video, and it might be shared 10 times, or 100 million times after that. You never even know. And somebody from your share it might connect with, and they go and get checked, and it could save their lives. So, Share for Life, get on there and do it, and download it off of iTunes or Amazon. It's all there at jimmycharlesmusic.com. Along with, there's a Zero Cancer. You can go right into their website from my website as well and check out all the races across the country if you guys want to get involved or donate. It's a lot of fun, and, I'm getting ready to go to I'll be in Harrisburg, PA on Friday, September 25th, and then I go to St. Louis, and then I'll be in Virginia Beach November 14th, I believe. And those dates are on my website as well. So love to see and love everybody to get involved.
Now, the video, if they go to the jimmycharlesmusic.com, that's the video that you just released for Superman on September 1st, that people can see it there and watch the whole thing.
Yes, we had our world premiere on September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
CMT.com featured it, and it just had an amazing response. For me to be an artist that was featured by CMT, it's pretty awesome. It trended #1 and in the top 5 for over a week, and I was the top 4th searched artist that week, right next to Luke Bryan and Taylor Swift. It was amazing. We had 5,000 shares just off their website. Not views, actual shares. So that shows how impactful the song is and how many people want to get involved with trying to get this message across and save lives.
And that, and that's an important thing, and I think that's awesome that people can check this whole thing out on your website at jimmycharlesmusic.com. You're also on the ReverbNation.com website where they can listen to the songs and like it on Facebook and get some more likes and shares out there and get it out there so people are, maybe not so afraid of the unknown, and I think that's a lot. People don't go to the doctor because they don't want to hear what somebody has to say, and I think, one of the things that really need to be pushed on a lot of this kind of stuff is early detection. It's like, don't wait till the last second, get there, because you hope for the good news, but if it's not so good news, you can do something about it. And then then you start taking those steps to do something about it. And I think that's important. And I think people don't do that. They get so wrapped up in today's society, and they're so busy, and they're doing this and they're doing that people don't take care of themselves. And prevention is the key, and they say it all the time for just about everything, including this. So I think.
Yeah, I mean, this song is more than just for prostate cancer. It's for everybody, and men and women. I have so many women that have been through breast cancer or currently battling that this song touches. It doesn't mention anything. That's Zero Cancer is what I'm bringing awareness to. But that song on its own, is for everyone's health, and everyone needs to follow those things, especially men, because they tend to be a little bit more, got to be Mr. Tough Guy, and I'll be fine, everything's good.
Right.
Another reason why this song is so special to me is I lost my father while I was singing this in the studio,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't know we were recording the song. And he was another guy that didn't want to know or thought he could handle everything himself. And, I'm in Nashville, and I'm busy flying around and doing things, and I'm kind of asking him, you taking care of yourself? And he's like, yeah. Well, lo and behold, he passed away, and I think things would have been different if he had the message of this song before,
mm-hmm.
And it's really sad, but that, fuels my fire even more. I've been in 10 cities just this month. I mean, I've been flying all over the place. It's the busiest I've ever been, but I've got such a passion for it, and it's so gratifying for me to have purpose for my music. I've done a lot of things that I'm proud of in my career, but I think this is the most proud I've ever been to be able to wake up and do something where I can be there, first of all, for these people who are, I can't imagine what they're going through, having to go through these treatments and have to fight for their lives, and they're so strong. But being able to be in their presence and provide, whether it's hope or just a smile and a laugh and a hug,
mm-hmm.
whatever I can do, it's so gratifying for me to have that kind of purpose. And it's been the best ride that I've had, better than American Idol or opening up for Merle Haggard or any of that. I think this is the one. So I'm a little tired, but I you know what? I love it. So I'll keep doing it as long as this song keeps going.
Well, and I think, I'm reading a little something here that you also kind of do the follow-up stuff for Survivorville, which is an organization that focuses on the aftermath and the survivors and the mental and physical battle that they have to deal with afterwards. You don't just say, oh, you're cured and everything goes back to roses and things. You think about, is it going to come back? It's like, how do I get my life going again? It's almost just like a military person who comes back from the war. They've been misplaced for so long trying to deal with something. And now they're like, oh, okay, now you got to start taking your first steps. And I think your follow through with the work you're doing with some of that stuff is also is pretty cool too. It's like, you don't, oh, you're cured. Okay, fine, whatever. But, those people have a lot of stuff that they got to deal with still,
Yeah, well, there's almost no such thing as being cured with cancer because, my uncle, he just beat lymphoma, but he beat it for now, and we're all, yay, thank God, because we've been praying for him and everything, and it's like, okay, cool, he's good, and then we go back to our lives, and then, I was just talking to him the other day. I said, hey, I was doing an interview, and I was just talking about, your strength and pulling through this and beating this, and he said, yeah, and then, he said, well, say a prayer for me because I got to go back for my follow-up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, wait, there's still a chance, you know what I mean? And you forget about that. And
right.
Plus the mental strain that it puts on people and their families. So, Survivorville was a thing I was asked to, be a part of, and that, brings a community together that they can talk about these things and be there for each other.
Right.
With some of the stuff that they've had to deal with.
Right. Let's. I realize how passionate and everything you are with this, but let's kind of turn the coin just a little bit because you do have some other things going on. You have this album, the second album out, Live Today, and it's got a lot of great music on it. Kind of like following the sentiments of thinking, you never know when that last day is going to happen. But we want to feature some of your other music as well. And one of the tunes we were talking about, Jimmy, was Whatever It Takes. And that kind of sounds like another one of those songs that, it has to come from a special place. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Whatever It Takes, and we'll feature that tune real quick while we have you on the phone.
Sure. Whatever It Takes is a song I actually came out. That was on my first album, and it was one of the most popular songs on my first album. And it's another, I love to inspire people with my music. I think that the world needs a little more inspiration these days. And, our world's getting so kind of crazy. And, with country music, I think it tells a story. And, with families and everything, there's a lot of stress on families financially. And just with everything that's going on, this is kind of one that says, let's do whatever it takes to make this work. Let's not just look for an easy way out, or let's stick together and say, hey, this is going to be tough. There's going to be mountains to climb, but we can do this together. With a mindset, you can do a lot more than just kind of giving in and looking for the other thing, like the grass is greener on the other side. So it has been my motto, whatever it takes. It's been my motto since I moved to Nashville, because I knew that I was up against the best. I knew that this was going to be a really tough battle for me to take my career to another level. And a long battle, and that's the same thing. Even though this one focuses on a family, same thing with the family. And this guy is saying, you know what, I'm going to give you this rock, and no matter what mountains I have to climb, I'll do whatever it takes to keep our family together.
Awesome. Well, we're going to play this right now, Jimmy. Why don't you go ahead and introduce this song for our listening audience?
Yeah, I'm Jimmy Charles, and this is Whatever It Takes. Hope you love it.
And that's Whatever It Takes right here on Penn's Peak Radio with Mr. Jimmy Charles. Another great song, Jimmy. And, it's words that people say sometimes to each other, but I think one of the more important things is when they kind of hear it back. It's like almost hearing your own words and taking your own advice. And I think it's important that people really listen sometimes,
Sure. Yeah, you've got to. And, I've had to learn from, I've had to take my own advice a lot of times. Sometimes things will get tough and whatever, and I sit there and I'm like, jeez. But then I'm like, hey, wait a second, I'm sitting out here putting these, I got to practice what I preach here, which I do, but sometimes it's just a reminder. It's just like, all right, let's go. Come on, here we go.
Yeah.
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 So, and but it's it's been great because it's gotten me to this point right now with a song on CMT and everything that I'm doing. So I'm excited. And I love whatever it takes to. It'll always be a song that's special.
And I think that's great. You have a lot of good music here, and one way that people can get their hands on it is go to your website, jimmycharlesmusic.com. They can get it from Reverb. You can go on to Spotify, Amazon, all the electronic ways. And, I think, buying the music helps support, the idea of what the music stands for, sharing the music with friends, especially if you think, wow, I know somebody who this might help. And I'm gonna share it with them, or I'm gonna send it to them, or get a Facebook like on it and tag somebody on it, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes that's all you really need is you need somebody to go, hey, yo, listen to the words to this song, because you need to wise up.
That's right. That's right. I don't. All the work that I'm doing right now is volunteer work. My expenses and travel are taken care of, but if you want to support me and help me out, that's a great way to do it, is by downloading my music.
Right, and spread the word. Jimmy, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, but what's upcoming? I mean, I know you're crazy with this tour, and you mentioned you're working on another album. You got any other wink, wink, nudge, nudge information? People can find you on the website, track you down on Facebook, Twitter, and all of that. But you got some news that people can be looking for and looking forward to with you?
Yeah, well, obviously look for the new album that's going to be coming out. We don't have a release date just yet. I've had to get through this month just because I've just been, wall to wall. And so now, after, I think we'll be making an announcement fairly soon once I get things together. And every day is a new adventure. I open up my email and I'm getting contacted by this organization, this, that, and the other, and trying to figure out different things. But it's always exciting because of the success of this song. It's getting a lot of attention. So every day there's a new adventure that could be there. There's going to be some great music coming out of my new album. I really want everybody, I'd love to hear the stories. But when people hear my song and you see that video, the video just came out phenomenal, the way that it was portrayed by the actors and actresses. Actually, the woman in there is my mother. I put my mom in the music video. She's the wife of the actor Tom, who's actually a friend of mine, but he's a professional actor who ends up getting cancer. So check that out. Tell me what you think. Tell me how it touches your life, and don't be afraid to reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook message. I'll be on there. I'll be on there looking and share that thing and get ready for a new album and more tour dates to come.
Cool. And you're the person who kind of does the responding, and if they're going to ask a question or whatever, you're the person that answers it on the Facebook and the Twitter and the social medias?
I am. I spend a lot of time. Everybody's like, man, you are always on your phone. I'm like, I'm working. These are my fans. These are the people that make what I do, make me be able to do what I do is by having these people. And I want to be able to make sure that I can communicate with them and talk with them a little bit. And I love hearing their stories and everything. So I spend a lot of time on social media, staying in connection with my fans. That's what it's all about,
Awesome.
If I don't have that, then I don't have a career. So, don't be afraid to reach out to me.
All right, there you go. And you can find out how to do that through jimmycharlesmusic.com. That's his website, his home website. You can watch the video on there that, features his mom and a friend. Find out more about the whole Live Today team and help you out and maybe make a donation or help spread the word about, prevention is the key and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff's right there on his website at jimmycharlesmusic.com. All that stuff will be up on the Wall to Wall Country show page until Monday, so you can check it out if you're listening on Wednesday or if you're listening on Sunday. All that stuff will continue to be there. His links to his Facebook and his Twitter page is on there as well. Jimmy, one last thing. I like to end my show with a song from that artist, maybe off that album that you have out there. What If I Never Asked? You want to tell us a little bit about that tune that people can wait for till at the end of the show to hear?
Yeah, well, that What If I Never Asked is going to be another song that's going to be on my next album, and it is my newest song that I just recorded it, and I just absolutely love this song, and it came from a little bit of a personal experience for me when I was really shy and nervous to ask out this girl, and the rest of the story kind of plays out a little bit differently than my own. However, it's one of those, like, if you like Kenny Chesney, Don't Blink.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those stories that takes you through a life cycle of this guy finally does get the courage to ask this girl out that he doesn't think that will do it, and she says yes, and they end up having a family, and his father had given him that advice, and he ends up giving it to his son later on, which would not have happened if he had never asked. So it's about taking chances. It's about living today. It's about, it all kind of goes with all of my music that I've got going on to really inspire people.
Well, you're definitely an inspiration to a lot of people. Your music is inspirational. Your music is beautiful. I wish you all the best of luck with the whole Zero Cancer, and maybe someday you can, snuff that website out and just go, we don't need that anymore, because there is no more cancer. That would be...
That's right.
That would be a wonderful day. But listen, man, if your travels ever bring you up to Pennsylvania, we're in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. You're not that far away in Maryland. We'd love to actually have you in the studio and give you the opportunity to chat with us live or play a tune live in our studio here at Penn's Peak Radio. We'd love to have you. We wish you all the best, though, Jimmy, and stay in touch. You got something new going on, feel free to always get back in touch.
Thank you so much for having me and supporting my cause. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And we'll be sure to play that song, What If I Never Asked, at the end of the show to remind everybody to check in. Remember, this entire show is being recorded today and will play back on Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So, Jimmy, if you want to put that out there a little bit on your Facebook and your Twitter, just if anybody missed the interview or missed the music from today, they can catch it again Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. The entire show starts. Your interview is in the second hour.
Absolutely.
All right, Jimmy. Well, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. You're a busy man. Good luck with everything. And keep us in mind when you have something new and exciting to let your fans know about. We'll be glad to help you out with that.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
Take care.
All
right. Take care, Jimmy. Bye-bye now.